Right then, we're in. Good evening all. Just waiting for Kelly to come in. Right, Chris. Right, guys. Halbrand. Just wait for Kelly to log on. Here she is. Kelly, let's see if we can get her in here, look. Go live with Kelly Fisher. Yes, please. Oh, look. She's upside down.
Oh, I'm upside down.
No, you're all right. I think, like...
1 minute.
Turn your camera, girl. Oh, that's better. There she is. You're
1
right.
minute. 1 minute. Here we go. I need to get this to...
Dude, you've done it all properly. You've got a table in the back.
I know. There we go. Right.
Holding your cue as well. Look at this.
Hey, got it all ready.
Darren did not go to these levels.
I'm looking like I've just played.
You're not messing about. Hello, ladies. Darren's in the chat by looks of things. So, Kelly Fisher grew up in South Elmsall, Ponty.
That's right. That's right. Same place as Darren.
Yeah. Oh, don't dog it. He's already giving me jip.
I know.
It's terrible. So, for all intents and purposes, you're still 25, yeah?
Yep, absolutely.
Lovely. So, your love for cue sports, it come from playing pool in your parents' pub?
Yeah, well, no. My parents had a pub and I played a bit of English pool.
Yeah.
That's where I suppose it began. And then way back they had a snooker table and I can't remember it. Apparently I used to sneak on the table when it closed between 4 and 7, get my parents into trouble. I can't really remember that much, but yeah, it was good.
That was the early start.
I began.
That's where it all began. So, like snooker, you took up about 30 when you were about 13. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you had a little local club, did you? Or
well, my dad took me actually to Wakefield. Just he thought I was tall enough, so he said,
lucky you.
Yeah, he thought I was tall enough, and took me to Wakefield, and I was playing away, just hitting balls, not a clue. And he went to the bar to get us a Coke or whatever, and there was a sign up saying local coach available. And he inquired at the bar, and so happens that the coach was sat at the bar, and he come and watched me play. I had no clue, and the guy is still my coach today, Lionel Payne. But he said, "Oh, she looks a bit short. Maybe bring her back in a year." I said, "I'll come and look anyway." So he come and watched me again. I had no clue, and he said to my dad, "No, I think we'll start today."
Yeah.
So he must have saw something. I don't know.
Sign her up. I'll take her on. So you must have progressed pretty quickly because, by the time you was 21 years old, just a mere 8 years later, you'd already been consecutive #1 on the women's tour.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, I did. I won my first ranking event, actual world ranking event when I was 16, which was I lost to the world record, still the world record. By a few months, by Anne-Marie Farron. She won, she was 15, nearly 16, and I just turned 16, so I just missed out on that world record. But yeah, and it went from there, really. I won my first world championships at the age of 19, and, off I went, really.
Yeah, you've got I've got a list here on my little whiteboard, which I keep glancing at. It's a plethora of titles, isn't it? It's like I said to Apples earlier, I was like, Christ, she's outdone you, pal.
It seems like a million years ago, to tell you the truth.
Well, I don't doubt it. It's a long road, isn't it? A lot of travelling, a lot of tournaments, a lot of stress. You haven't aged much, though. Still look good, girl.
You reckon? My God, you're not close enough.
Watch out, Val. So listen,
you're not close enough.
How many world titles have you actually got? Because I actually run out of ink.
Oh, I know it's small then. Well, I got 6 World Snooker Championships titles and 2 9-ball titles, 1 10-ball world title. And then I got, believe it or not many people know this, I got 2 or 3, I can't remember, of the English billiards.
Yeah, I literally just see that.
I got 2 or 3 of them back in the day, but there might have only been 4 or 5 entries in it. I can't really remember.
But you tore them up.
Still did it. Still did it.
So, like, snooker was gravy. Like, back in the day, right? You was earning a few quid. Everything was good. Like,
Yeah.
not loads of money. Like, that was your career, right?
That's right. I mean, good grief. I remember as I got a bit older that really, after I left my mum and dad and I'd got my own place and that I really were living, I had to win events in order to pay the rent or the mortgage. You know, and fortunately I was doing that. But at some points I remember going to the toilet if I were down and saying, come on, you've got to win this to pay the mortgage.
Yeah,
so You know, it was tough. It was tough. I was just fortunate that I could kind of just get by, and I was happy, obviously, because I was winning and I was young and I didn't have so much worries and
of course.
carefree, you know. So
yeah. Living hand to mouth, everything was going great. And then 2003, right? The governing body, they go, right, we're taking all the money out, all the support from Ladies Snooker. Your head must have been like, wow.
Yeah. Well, it was like, God, I remember it clearly, actually. I won the World Championships at the Crucible in May, and we always had a break, 2 months, and back in August, it went to Scotland, to Stirling for the Scottish Regal Masters, every year, same.
Right.
And you know, I won the World Championships, great, a couple of months off, fantastic. But back then, not really email, that weren't the thing.
No, sure.
So I got a letter in the post, and I think it was in June or July, I think it might have been July, and basically saying that the government had banned tobacco sponsorship, which I kind of already knew, but I didn't realise the effect it had had. Unfortunately, the World Snooker umbrella couldn't support the women's game any longer, therefore we had no events at all.
None at all? Okay, yeah.
Not at that moment, everything was taken away, you know, so yeah, so that was like, I've never done anything else. I had no idea what to do. I had a mortgage. Both myself and Val played. So it was like, okay. We both went and got a job, and believe it or not, was in a vegetable factory.
Oh, I love fresh veg. So now you're talking.
It was in Gretna, because we were living in Carlisle at that time. It was in Gretna. I forget the name of it, doesn't matter. And yeah, we went, and basically I was scrubbing carrots and picking out, you know, spring onion, the good from the bad, on a conveyor belt with my little hat on and Val too, you know, and wow, how long do you think we lasted?
Not very. Couple of weeks?
No, 3 days.
3 days? Not even 2 weeks?
3 days, yeah. So in that time, I'd applied for a job at Tesco's. I got an interview, and I remember the lady saying to me, "You're a world champion at snooker?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she said, "I think I recognise you." And I said, "Right." Still never got the bloody job.
No, of course not.
No, I went in 2 weeks later to see some kid that couldn't give me the change out of a £20 note, get the job, and I never got it. Never mind. So I never got that job. So I ended up in another factory, both of us again, in a seatbelt factory that was in Carlisle. No longer there now, but basically when you click your seatbelt into the little box, I was making the boxes. And
saving lives, Kelly, saving lives.
Yeah. You know. Well, maybe not if they got mine. But anyway, so
liability, Kelly. You've got money now. Liability.
8 hours a day doing the same machinery thing, and I'm like, and Val was the same, you know. And it was like 3.5 weeks, maybe a month. We lasted at that. 6 a.m. till whatever 2 p.m. and then 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. And I'm like, no, this is no. And I already knew at that time that Alison Fisher, Karen Corr, Kim Shaw, Julie Kelly had already gone to America.
Yeah.
And I was still pals with them, and still kept in contact mainly with Kim Shaw. So I thought, right, got to change this. This can't carry on like this. So called Kim up, and we said to her, you know, can you help out if we make the move to America? And sure enough, I didn't expect so quickly that she said, yeah, I've got your pool hall in Staten Island, New York, that'll pay you a wage. You just have to be the house pro and open it up and close it, maybe help behind the bar a little bit. I don't know yet, she said, and you can come and stay with us. So
wow,
put the house on the market. Didn't have any money. My parents helped by giving us £400 at that time,
Bloody
which was
hell.
$700, and 6 suitcases, and off we flew till the house closed, and landed in America February 2004. And
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, never been, like, have you even been to the States before?
I had. My brother lives in California, so I've been a couple of
Okay.
times when I was younger to visit him, but as far as anything else, no.
Had you played any real American pool before you
Never,
decided to...
never played American pool apart from probably drunk in the Carlisle Snooker Club, the Portland Snooker Club that had an American pool table. Can't really... So basically, we landed on American soil. I remember it really clearly, not to bore you, on a Wednesday, and didn't have a queue, didn't have nothing. Kim said, right, Kelly, Val, we're going to a tournament on Saturday. We're driving to Maryland, 4.5 hour drive. Okay. Here's a queue for you both. It's some balls. I said, we don't know the rules. Didn't know the rules, nothing. So I remember the Friday night, we arrived there, and off her and Tiffany Nelson, who was also a top player then, showed us the rules. And we could pot every ball, don't get me wrong, because we were snooker players. But we didn't have a clue what we were doing. But to be honest, I didn't. Obviously, a long pot just seemed so easy because of coming from snooker.
Yeah.
So easier than it does now.
I think that's the same for everyone. They come over and the botting the balls is the easy part.
But not now. Now a long pot's a long pot on the 9 foot, you know. Yeah. So anyway, we went to the tournament, and basically I got second and Val got third. We both beat Kim and Tiffany, who were teaching us the rules and gave us the cues. And they were top players at that time, and I got second, Val got third, and I lost to a Japanese girl. And I got a qualifying spot for the pro event, and I'm like, wow. And we earned that weekend $1,000. I'm thinking,
been there 4 days. Been there 4 days, Kelly.
Arrived on Wednesday. This is Sunday, and so anyway, it rolled from there. That $700 turned into a lot more.
A large number, a large career anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah,
it could have all gone tits up. Do you know what I mean? You could have gone over there and failed.
Completely.
You take your chances. You roll the dice.
That's it.
So do you even remember what happened when that first pro event?
Yes, I do.
Lovely.
It was in Canada. And who did I draw first round? Alison Fisher.
Of course.
First round, first match. And she was number 1, world champion at the time, number 1, winning everything. So I'm like, right. Anyway, this is actually a God's honest true story. I went 8-1 up. 8-1 up.
I feel a butt coming on.
Oh, there's a very big butt. 8-1 up. And I remember missing a 1 ball. My cue ball was stuck on the rail, and I missed this 1 ball, but I didn't even believe I missed it. But I missed this 1 ball. And that was to kind of run out to win 9-1. I mean, everybody were crowding around because I was my first ever pro event, and nobody knew me. And anyway, after that 1 ball miss, she tied me up in knots, and I lost 9-8.
Criminal.
Yeah.
Criminal. I'm the world's worst at throwing away a big lead, so I know exactly how you feel. Not often I get in the front, don't get me wrong. Once I'm there, I can throw it away.
She tied me up in knots. She knew I had no clue how to bank, kick, play safe. All she knew is I could pot. So instead of going for a run, she just tied me up in knots, and I had no ball in hand.
Free fail.
Yeah, all happened. It just went downhill. It went tits up completely. Yeah.
Lesson learned, and look at you now. So, like, your American career is kind of vast, and you've been going a while now. Like, I don't want to bring it up because you definitely still look 25.
Thank you.
But your biggest win, your first world championship, or what are they? What do you feel? What's your first big achievement in the States, do you reckon?
Well,
for you,
the WPBA back then, when me and Val went over to America, the WPBA was huge, and it was all on ESPN. I mean, I remember before leaving this country and going to America, we were on holiday in Greece, and we sat there having a burger, tucking into a burger in this little cafe in Greece, and we looked up on TV, and there was Alison Fisher playing Karen Corr in the final of a tournament. And I remember one of them missed what I thought was an easy shot. And I'm like, because we were already planning to go then. I said, Val, we're going to be millionaires.
We're going to be millionaires, brothers.
Look at what they've just missed. How did they miss that? That's easy, you know, kind of all this cockiness.
Yeah.
Thinking that 9-ball was a Mickey Mouse game compared to snooker, which of course I really, really know now that is not true.
No, yeah.
So, yeah, I just remember thinking, wow, we're gonna take this by storm, you know, no problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I went to America, my goal first of all I was amateur. You couldn't just play in the pro events; you had to qualify. So first thing we spent was a full year qualifying.
Okay.
And then you played in the pro events. So after playing in the pro events, my goal was obviously to win one. I remember getting close in the first few events, and my first win was 2005, which was the San Diego West Coast Classic. So that felt like a World Championships to me, you know?
Yeah, that's a big event for you, that San Diego Classic, right?
Yeah.
2006, 2007. You own that event.
Yeah, I just had this like that was my favourite location.
Walked in like, yes, please.
I don't know. It was like this casino, and it was just, I don't know. I felt comfortable in there. Maybe it was just the luck went my way. But my brother lives in California still, and he always come and visited because that San Diego's not so far.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really seemed to obviously
felt like a venue.
A lucky place for me. So then I went on in 2007, I think, or 6, I forget now, was my first attempt at the World Ladies 9-ball Championships, which, if I remember rightly, was in Taiwan. Right. And that was a whole new ball game then. You know, now we're seeing players from Taiwan, from China, from Japan, Korea, that we'd not seen before. And, you know, it was a totally different level in many ways. So my goal then changed from from winning WPBA events, was then obviously now I had to win abroad, win in Asia. I think I always had a personal goal to win the US Open, which I eventually did in 2007. Is that right?
9, I've got.
9? Oh, God, I'm off. Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, 2008.
No, I've got 9.
Oh, well, whatever.
A year between friends.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm not sure, but
you won the International Tour of Champions and US Open. That was you won them both the first time in the same year, right?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
According to Wikipedia.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's not right. But I remember losing in the final to Alison. She's losing in the final to Alison into the year before I won it. And I was on the hill, so it was ESPN, always shown on the TV, and I was 6-5 up, race to 7, because that was for TV.
Yeah.
I was 6-5 up, and I was 8-9 left on the table. I landed with a bit too much angle. Potted the 8, so I didn't really dog it, but I kind of did. Potted the 8, but I put a bit too much draw screw back on it.
Right.
Instead of missing the 9 and coming off the bottom cushion back up, I clipped the 9, and the cue ball slowly, pocket speed, trickled and went into the pocket.
Brutal.
So obviously now it's hill, and she broke and ran. And that was just after I lost my mum. So I remember that being really an emotional event, probably one of the most emotional events I've had, Yeah,
because you're probably going into that final, like, at this point thinking, I can do this for my mum, like, like, this is...
Yeah,
it's the time to really, if you're going to dedicate something to, your mum who's just passed, God rest her soul,
right.
and there's a lot of emotions, I would imagine. Yeah,
it was. I think it was losing like that. I think it was losing like that. Potting the 8, colliding into the 9 and scratching. I'm like, oh, and then she did a break and run that was unbelievable. To be honest with you,
just sick finish.
You can find it on YouTube. I mean, not that anybody's necessarily interested, but it was just heartbreaking. So,
if you want to see Kelly go through ultimate pain,
that's paid. That's paid. And then the next year I won it, so that was great. That was memorable for sure.
Which I would say is 2009, which you won your US Open that year as well. So, so the Ladies US Open, like, I don't really know much about the Ladies US Open, like. Do you want to talk much about that US Open event in 2009? You win, and like, is it a big thing, like the Ladies US Open?
It was. I mean, now we don't have one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I've not seen it
Currently
in
we
my
don't
time
have,
around American pool.
that's right. Currently we don't have one because, like I said, at that time, the WPBA was huge. We had ESPN coverage. We had 8 events to 10 events per year, all with good purses, all structured and scheduled way in advance. And it was a fantastic, and it still is a fantastic tour. But what happened, unfortunately, the economy in 2008 hit America really bad.
Yeah.
And it affected many more things than pool, don't get me wrong, but that took a really big hit on the casinos that then took a hit on the sponsorships and our venues. And unfortunately, we lost the TV coverage because you had to pay for it. It's not like,
Yeah, of course. You have to now. Yeah.
ESPN, yeah. So we lost the TV coverage, and then unfortunately, some sponsorship with casinos, and it just kind of dwindled a little bit. And unfortunately, it really went down to only 2 events a year at one point. But these last couple of years, we've got a new board, and they're really enthusiastic, and they're really getting it up now and running. We've got back up to, this year should have been 6 events. Unfortunately, with the lockdown, that's not happened, which just timing, right? But
okay, so like obviously being over in the UK, like I get a bit confused about these organisations and what have you. So like this one that you're talking about, like they just run all the ladies' events in the States, right?
yeah, all the events are in the States. WPBA stands for Women's Professional Billiards Association. It's been going for, I think, 30 years. And that's where you got your Jeanette Lee, your Ava Lawrence, Alison now, obviously Karen, Vivian Viriel. That's where all they got famous from. And everybody from around the world that ever played 9-ball wanted to be on the WPBA.
Okay, yeah.
And, you know, now it's moved to China predominantly, as we know. But even back then, the Chinese were all flying over, Pan Shouting, all them famous ones, Gai Yun Kim, Korean, all come over for the WPBA. So we're building it back up. And I really think that, you know, we'll be back to where we get a US Open again and things like that. But we've not had one for a few years.
So were some of the events for this year actually in China, or were they all
WPBA?
Yeah.
That association is played in America.
But okay. When you mentioned stuff in China, I just
no, that's the Chinese players. But now a lot of our events, like for example, we've got more events in China, I mean, now than we have in America. Before it was the other way around.
Yeah, of course. It's evened itself out over the years then, like, you know, everyone has to travel, right?
Yeah. So I'm hoping we'll get the America back going again. I'm sure we will, because I've seen it growing already to where we've got, you know, let's say 6-8 events in America per year, and then we've got 4 to 6 events in China, you know, per year. That would be great.
Yeah, obviously, like we've done a bit of business together over the last couple of years, and I know you're always, or was always, out in China doing your bits and bobs out there, coaching tournaments and whatever else. So I bet you're.
Well, I had to really, because when America did take the slump, you know, of course, then China kind of, luckily, thankfully, started producing more events, and therefore every event I was going to was in China. And then I got sponsorship out there, luckily again, and that made me have more commitments out there. So, you know, in order to do well and get the big sponsors, I really had to be out there a lot longer than I really liked. And you know, but I mean, I now China's like second home in some respects. I'm there a lot.
Yeah. When I ring you and I get that funny ringtone, I think, oh Christ, she's back in China. Quick, hang up before I get charged a fortune.
Well, they're very good to me. I've been very lucky. They've been great to me. I can't complain.
No, yeah, you've got some great sponsors out there, right? Like Cyclop, or they all come under an umbrella, right?
No, they're all separately individual. Yeah, I've got, you know, Fury Q's.
Yeah.
And I've been with them though, even in America. Both myself and Val were sponsored by Fury Q's, but that was the American franchise, which led me to be introduced to the pure owners of Fury, which are Chinese, and they took me on as a once I was traveling to Asia all the time. They took over that sponsorship from the American franchise, and so Fury Q's, and then I've got Xing Shui tables.
Jing Shui tables, right?
Yeah.
Do the nice Chinese 8 ball tables and stuff.
Great,
Like
yeah, I must say, yeah, I've sent one to Mick Hill, Jason,
yeah.
Joe, Alison's got one over in America, Karen too, and so yeah, no, they're great. And I've got one here, right here.
Yeah. I know there's a few knocking about the country, so yeah, like
Yeah.
I've heard good things.
Right there, look. There it is.
Wrapped up, warm. Ready?
Yeah, I know there's no event, so it's wrapped up warm. And yeah, and basically they do great 9-ball tables. I've actually got one in my club. I've got a 9-ball table in my club, and I've got a Chinese pool table in my club of theirs, and I've got one of their snooker tables.
You're just keeping your eye in just in case the right game comes along, huh?
Well, I've got 6 snooker tables. What I'm saying is they do great tables. I put one in my club. Out of the 6, I changed one out for one of their tables, and yeah, I put a brand new Chinese and a brand new American in there. So
yeah, lovely. So your career. So let's skip a couple of years because you just kind of won it all. Actually, the International Tournament of Champions.
Uh-huh.
Can they just start calling that the Kelly Fisher Trophy or whatever? Like, be done with it. Like,
yeah. Well, that used to
2009,
be...
2010,
yeah.
2013, and I'm sure there's a few more in between, really.
Yeah, there is. I won it. It's stopped now. We haven't got it anymore.
Because they got a couple of you winning it.
That was again it was based off the WPBA. It was a separate independent event, but it was a Champion of Champions. That was the original name of it. And basically what happened was 4 players that had done the best throughout the year on the WPBA went, and it was winner take all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big money?
Yeah. At one point it was not 50 grand, it was 25 grand for winner take all. And then you got like a appearance fee on top of that, which was always quite good as well. All your expenses paid.
Sponsor bonus.
Yeah, it was great. So the 4 players always in it, and it was a short race, 2 races to 4.
Blimey, that is
for
50k basically.
I know. If it went 1-1, then it comes sudden death, 1 rack, and it was all produced on ESPN. Really exciting and really good fun, and they did really well with it. They had a men's one too. I think Darren's won the men's one before.
Oh, really?
And then they had a speed pool one as well, Champion of Champions speed pool. So they had 3 events running simultaneously, men's, women's, and speed pool. And they all were for 25k for the winner. I think at one point the men's were 50k for the winner.
Blimey, you've got to hold your nerves, haven't you? Short races for 50k.
Yeah, I'm sure the women's might have been 50k at one point, but that was before I arrived in America. I can't remember. Anyway, it was great.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was looking at your winners list.
It was. After the ESPN coverage was lost, though, unfortunately, that kind of dwindled too. So, yeah.
Shame, all right.
Yeah.
So, WPA 9-ball world champion, 2009, 2000. Oh, my writing is terrible. And 2013, you've won. How many times are you 9-ball world champion? WPA, the women's.
World 9-ball champion twice.
Twice.
Second, yeah. Both of them in China. They've always been held in Asia. Well, not always, but since I've been playing, they've been held in either Taiwan or China. Since 2006 was my first attempt, I believe.
And obviously current world champion.
Yeah, that sounds
right. Which you must be fuming with this COVID right now. You've hit some decent form again. You've won.
There's Darren, by the way, saying he won it twice, the Champion of Champions.
I know, he's just bragging. Like, he should be practicing. He's got a set for $100 in like half an hour, and he's in here.
Oh, well, good luck, Daz.
He needs it. Papa Apples wants steak tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? So current world champion, and then all this kicks off. Like, you've got great form. You must be gutted. Like, you should be out there tearing it up. Yeah.
I kind of thought, at the end of the year, I thought, finally, I've had a bit of a struggle because I had surgeries, as you know. And not trying to blame them or anything like that, but after I had the open heart surgery, and then I had 3 years back to back of major surgeries, and all of them being like genetic and nothing to do with any like of my personal health as such.
Yeah.
So it's kind of these major surgeries, and after them, I don't know what happened. I can't explain it. I had some kind of glitch in my stroke that I just couldn't get rid of. I've always had a fast stroke, but this was a proper glitch. I couldn't pull back properly, you know.
Okay.
And I didn't really tell anybody at that time because I didn't want anybody to even know.
Just hope that no one was
know
watching too
that.
carefully.
Yeah, I didn't even tell anybody. But basically, me and Lionel Payne, my coach, he's still my coach today, 28 years later.
Crazy.
Even though he doesn't play 9-ball, or he's not really, he does know, of course, but he's more like mechanical, mental, and obviously we're like family and best friends that he knows me inside out. So, and he helped and really tried to help me, but it was something that just took a long time.
Do you reckon it was something that upstairs, like with
Had to be.
the time off and the, you know?
I have no idea. I mean, they told me when I did the open heart surgery because they had to stop my heart and put me on a ventilator, and that has up to a year of possible vision problems, possible focus problems, different things that possibly. And I thought, oh, not me, you know, not me.
Tough.
So
I'll be back next week.
That's it. And I did go back 3 weeks later or 4 weeks later after the rehabilitation. I was told to take 3 months off, and I were back in 2.5 anyway. And they told me not to even pick up a cue.
Tough old northern bird, eh?
That's it. Can't take them out of there. Yeah, what's that saying?
That's it. Do you know what I mean?
So, and I went back to actually my first event back was the Tournament of Champions, the Champion of Championships, and I won it. But I really got lucky. I was everywhere.
One of them events you walk away thinking, how have I done that?
I have no idea how. And I went on to the World Championships after that, and sure enough, that showed me how lucky I must have got, because I lost in the last 16, last 32, something like that. And I mean, I really knew then I weren't really ready for playing big tournaments yet. But anyway, long story short, it took me about 4 years to really feel like our coming back, or at least getting this stroke problem under some kind of control. Like I don't know. I couldn't explain it. Still can't really.
Does it feel natural now, your stroke? Like, do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm forever working on it. It's always been since the age of 13 to now. Even in snooker, it was always been something that Lionel and I couldn't, take for granted, because it was like an Alex Higgins stroke. I jump and I move. I've got to be so careful. So I really have always had to work on that. But anyway, I feel
2x4 above your head. Stay still.
Always done that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's put the cue above my head and everything. You name it, we've tried it. So
coach.
Anyway, I finally, felt this last 2 years, I've really felt like, right, I can play natural. I mean, I play natural, but I don't have to think about it. I can just play, and it's still there. It's still not perfect. It never has been, but it's certainly, when I won that World Championships, and this last year especially, I'm like, mentally, I feel great. And then I win that, so I'm like, right, top of my game again here. I never expected to win it, I'll be honest with you, the World Championships. I knew I could, but I didn't really expect that I was going to.
You've kind of got to juggle that, right? Like mentally, like you can, but then expectations can.
That's right.
You have to be somewhat realistic.
That's right, and the standard of play now is scary with the younger Chinese, Asian players. Unbelievable. Taiwanese, Korean, and Chinese. So anyway, I was just absolutely, that last World Championships, I remember when I won it, it just felt like it was my first, because I didn't expect it, and I'm over 40, and I'm like, 25. Wow. Yeah, sorry, 25. Yeah. Anyway, so then I couldn't wait for Christmas, have a bit of time off, great, but I couldn't wait to start back on the table again,
Yeah.
And then obviously here we are. Not a tournament yet, but that's all right. The main thing is
you had a nice little holiday in Egypt as well, didn't you? You went to Hurghada, right?
Not Hurghada. No, I went to. Oh God, you've caught me. I went to Egypt. Where the hell did I go now? It wasn't Hurghada. It was a different.
Oh, I can't remember then.
It begins with A. It don't matter.
Alexandria.
Anyway,
Alexandria.
No, it was further down from Hurghada, and it was about an hour away from Hurghada, I think, and it was
nice.
It was nice beautiful, beautiful, really
lovely country, isn't
it? It's gorgeous, beautiful place, really, really, and nice, relaxing. Didn't really do anything, just relax. It was good.
It was about eat, drank, and caught some sun, I suppose.
Yeah, gained some weight.
Don't talk to me about weight gaining. I can't even do my top button up no more. This COVID-19 is killing me.
The first 3 weeks, I don't know. I just thought, I don't know, this were all new, wasn't it? You know, to everybody, like you're stuck at home. And
What do you
so
do?
I just,
What do you do? Other than eat?
well, I know I've started now because I could feel the beef going on. And I've
The beef.
started, yeah, I've started now, like, right, I'm walking every day, 3 to 5 mile. I'm doing a little workout, nothing vigorous, don't get me wrong, 'cause I'm not fit enough. I'm not fit
Go
enough.
down.
You know, I'm just trying to start now cutting down and getting into a routine. So I'm going walking. I've done 4 mile or 5 mile today, I think. So
Yeah, good on you. Yeah, I try and do a couple. Like I was doing 5 miles because I set myself a half marathon challenge when this is all done.
I heard that, yeah.
And I was getting up, and then you have a week of just like sort of eating. Do you know what I mean? Then you got to start all over again. A couple of miles here, a couple of miles there. It is graft. Like mentally, this COVID-19 is a little bit of graft, isn't it? Like it's hard.
I felt it. Luckily, I've got the table. I mean, I've got the pool hall that's closed completely. I could always go in there if I wanted to, but I'm very fortunate. I built this room, this outbuilding. Yeah. And,
Isn't that the one for sale though? The house wasn't.
Yeah, it's a
No,
long
not
story.
anymore.
The guy who bought it is a really nice guy, and Struan, and he's ended up becoming like a friend. And I just come through and
Oh really?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's really nice.
You bought my house, but you've got to let me keep my tables there.
That's right. He let me keep my tables. It's wonderful. Couldn't ask for any better than that, could you?
Wow, that's bloody brilliant. That I like that. That is like a northern thing, isn't it? Like northern attitude. Like everyone's family. Just leave your doors open, walk in.
I know. Yeah, it's lovely. Luckily, it's completely detached at the back of the garden, so I don't have to even bother him. But he's fixing my bike tomorrow.
He's fixing my bike.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of how nice he is. So him and his wife, him and his girlfriend are lovely. Yeah, they are.
You and Val got a spot at the table for Christmas still, right?
Exactly. I'm going to invite myself.
What a life. So you mentioned your club. So you've got a club called Sands Club in Scotland.
Sand Snooker and Sports Bar, yeah.
How's that going?
Well, I took over that 3 years ago, me and Val. Val runs it, to be honest with you. I'm away so much, but we took over that 3 years ago. She's done a fantastic job turning it around. It's a 35-year-old club that really was needing completely redone out from everything. I mean, I'm not going to diss it how it was because I know the owner. But put it this way,
it was 35 years old. It needed a clean up, right?
Yeah. There was a 9-ball table in the middle of the room that the left bottom pocket were held on with some sellotape. So just to give you an idea. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we completely have revamped that out with. They had 12 snooker tables in there. We've took out 6, and we've got like 9 English pool tables.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, 11, I think. Right. And then we've got a Chinese, an American, and 6 snooker. And then we've got a dart area, poker area, and a complete revamped lounge bar.
Sounds like a nice club.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Val's done a great job. It's been busy and it's really grown. And
open 7 days a week.
What's that?
Open 7 days a week.
Yeah, open 7 days a week. Yeah, we get a bar crowd, which is really, to be honest, we earn you most money.
You need it.
Yeah, you do. We've got the bar is completely separate, which is great. So you can have everybody in there and still have your snooker and pool playing separate. So yeah, it's doing quite well, and it's been a lot of work for Val, and a lot of investment. We've invested a lot of money into it. So fingers crossed it when we get back open.
She's a good old girl, this Val, huh?
Yeah, we can bring it all, start getting some money coming in, because at the moment, obviously, I'm not bringing anything in, and the club's not bringing anything.
You won 50k like 3 months ago. What are you spending it on?
50k? Where'd you get that?
The Women's World Championships. What was that? $50,000?
No, it was 40. Minus.
My apologies.
Minus 20%.
Okay, sorry, 32,000.
Taxes, and then you turn it to pounds. Go on.
Yes, it works out very little. Just a measly 20k. Like 4 months ago. I'm joking. I'm winding up.
Yeah, here we go. Come on.
Done it on Amazon over the last 6 weeks, didn't you?
I bought a hot tub. What you took?
Oh, you bought the hot tub? Yeah, you was lounging about in earlier.
I did, yeah. It's a nice one.
Is it a big one?
It is, yeah.
Well, I'll be on my way when this is over.
I know.
Catch up in the hot tub with a bottle of coffee.
I'm getting old now, and I'm not used to exercising as much as I've been doing. I've been doing quite a bit. So like my arms are killing me and my back. So I've been like, all right. I mean,
Jump in the hot tub. Lovely.
Yeah.
So we've mentioned Val a few times, like from the beginning as well. Like, how long have you and Val been together?
We've been 2000 and
Get this right.
I know, right? 2002.
2002, yes, like a good while, right?
18 years, yeah. No, just never. Well, we lived in America and it wasn't legal. And then when it was here, and then we moved. Yeah, why?
Around it?
No.
Nah, just comfortable.
Don't fix something that's not broken, right?
Through that, like, you know, leave it as is.
Leave it as is, yeah.
Leave it as is. I didn't realise that she was a player as well. Like,
yeah, she was a Scottish snooker champion, and she got up to the top rankings of the women's snooker. And then she went to America and got up to like the top 16 of the WPBA. But she's not a practicer, put it that way. She didn't really have the passion like I did and the drive.
She just sent you on. She just sent you
on.
Yeah,
I couldn't get to practice enough. You know, I'm like, right, get in the pool room and practice. Oh yeah, like so obviously, you know, a game. Didn't go as well. She could have done a lot better than she did, in my opinion. But we're not going to argue about that.
No. She's now running the club, keeping the house. Everything else is good. It's worked out well, right?
It's worked out.
Happy. Well. Everyone's happy.
That's it.
So, women's pool going forward, is it in a good place? What do you think?
Well, my honest opinion is that at the moment, the men's pool is in a much better place. Now, it's flip-flopped because if you take it back 3 years ago, the women were certainly the most recognised, the most best organised, promoted. But Matchroom have definitely changed that around for men's pool. And although they don't have any, all their events are men's events where they're inviting, which is fantastic because I've been one of them, unfortunately. And I was supposed to be in Gibraltar again, obviously, last month.
Yeah.
So, they're inviting women to play in their events, and they're also opening some of their events to women to play, but against the men, which would be great if a woman does fantastic. But I would love to see them have their own events.
Yeah.
Women's events. So Matchroom have certainly, what a fantastic company they are for pool, but they've certainly flipped the men's game around to where now the men are having far more tournaments than the women, and they're a lot more well promoted or popular at the moment. Whereas, like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, it was the other way around. So that being said, in America, it's improving. The women's of the WPBA is improving, getting more events. China is kind of staying the same. I mean, their events have big money, but I wouldn't say it's increased any, or maybe lost a couple of events. So I'm not sure about there. And after this COVID-19, who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, right?
I do feel America will continue to grow, but I really don't know where China will be at. I really hope so. I hope we go back there for the World Championships and everything else. But I don't know. So I'd like to see, I'd like to see the women's game certainly have a bit more of an influx, and I'd love to see Matchroom take on a few of the women's tournaments. And I'm going to try and play in some of the men's events the Matchroom run. It only takes 1 or 2 good results. You saw the dart player, right?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Like, I'm not a massive darts fan, but the little skinny blonde girl, she was fantastic, right? Jamie, yeah. Fair play to her. But
yeah,
you can argue all day long whether you can compete on a what's the word, like a neutral. Are you equal? I don't know. Like, who's to say one way or the other?
I have my own opinion, to be honest, on that one, and I'm not saying I'm right, but if I say this out loud, all the men on here will probably shout at me. But basically, my opinion, it was something my coach looked into way back when I was young. I was playing snooker, and I grew up with Paul Hunter in Leeds. So I was practicing in Leeds and Wakefield a lot. And I grew up with Paul Hunter and all Matthew Stevens, Mark Selby, all them. And at that point, when I was from about 14, 15, and they were the same age. Mark Selby was actually younger, but I was equal level with them. I was really doing well. I was getting to finals of junior tournaments, mixed, and I was doing really well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you saw a change. You saw my improvement slowing down, if you like, or maybe not. Maybe their improvement just excelling at a quicker level. And my coach looked into it, Lionel looked into it a little bit, and they come up with, again, don't shout at me, anybody here, but they come up with basically, once becoming a woman, let's say, a woman is capable of thinking up to 5 things at one time.
Okay.
As we know, multitasking, right? Yeah.
Leave it with you.
Whereas a man is not necessarily not able, because they are, but a man is more like a horse with blinkers. They're more focused on one thing at one time better than a woman. So that what we're coming up with here is when you play a sport, if you look at any sport, anything, even chess, the champion, the champion is a man. Now, basically,
what you're saying here, yeah.
What I'm thinking is it's about focus. It's like a horse with blinkers, as opposed to a woman. You know, I'm not saying that I can't focus, because I can, but my mind does go off sometimes.
You're thinking whether the washing's done.
Yeah. But I do think that basically a man can focus better than a woman, and that's where there's a slight disadvantage or advantage or whatever you want to call it. Now, there's nothing to stop a woman training and to be able to do that better, which is what I've tried to work on a lot. And if you look at the sports that women have done well, the world champions of tennis and different golf, a lot of them are a little bit more masculine.
See, I think this is where my game comes into play here, because I'm very in touch with my feminine side, and that's why I'm no good. Because I'm thinking, how do I look? Does my bum look big in this? Is my dinner on? Like, it's all coming to it now. I know why I can't win nothing.
Now you know. I do firmly believe that there's something to that. I'm not saying that's the only reason. I'm not saying any, because there's also another few things like percentages. I mean, for how many centuries as from snooker especially, women weren't allowed to play snooker and go into snooker halls. They weren't allowed years and years ago. So therefore, you know, men have had a bit of a quicker start. You know, and not only that, how many men play compared to women? So what are the percentages there? But
yeah,
I do agree that a woman, it does seem like it's definitely a sport that could be equal. And I know a lot of people think that, and they don't understand why.
Fundamentally,
yeah,
be equal, right?
Completely. But the only thing is, there's definitely a difference in the mental side, and whether that has such an impact, like I just described or not, I don't know if I'm right, but that's my own personal feeling.
Look, it's like breeding, isn't it? Like horses. Why the horses coming into a leg yield? It's because it's bred into them to go into something that goes into their side. Like, it's all bred into us through thousands of years. You can't get rid of certain things. Like, I don't know. It makes sense to me. It literally does make sense to me that.
Now, it doesn't mean, of course, it doesn't mean, you know, that combined with ability and things like that. I think ability-wise, you know, good grief, I think there's a lot of women there's many women that can break and run just like a lot of the top men, just equally. But there's definitely something that just keeps that consistency, or maybe it's the testosterone or the ego that they want it more. Men want it more. They have a bit of an aggressive goal, you know, folk. I don't know. There's a few things.
Look, listen, there's no doubt you, Kelly, Alison, Seeming, Jeanette, like all the top women players can beat any of the top geezers in a set to 9. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But can you do it 9 sets to 9 over a weekend when your body starts to get tired, your mind wanders? Do you know what I mean? If that's what you're saying, like,
well, I mean, 9-ball's one of them that, to be honest with you, that you know, I could play a player of equal level 9 times in 9 finals, and it might be different every time. You know, 9-ball's a bit different like that for sure. But snooker's not. Snooker, it's always the better player will win 90 to 85% of the time. And when I played snooker, I actually went onto the men's tour to try and qualify to the main tour. Yeah. And back then it was open. It was called the Challenge Tour. So I went, there were 1,700 men. Alison Fisher did it and Karen Corr tried it the years before as well. Right. 17 plus 100 men and me as only one woman. And when Alison did it, there were 4 of them, I think 3 or 4 women, Alison, Karen, Anne-Marie, and you know, whatever. So when I did it though, they'd already stopped playing or Alison had gone to America or whatever. So I managed to get up to, what was it? 150 in the world in the men's snooker.
Wow.
But in order to, it didn't work like that because the top 96 were the main tour. So I was number 60 on the Challenge Tour, but it didn't matter. I calculate that together being 150, but there were no 150. It was 96 or not.
Yeah.
And you only got on the main tour if you were in the top 96 back then. That was the system. And that's the only way you could earn money or go to the main events. Yeah. So I never did make the cut. And after 3 or 4 years of trying, then I kind of, I think I actually continued trying until I left for America actually, but that's how far I got anyway. I got to about 150.
I think you did pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've seen some top players come over from Australia and stuff like when we was in Cambridge, like the Misfords, Vinnie Calabrese, stuff like that. Come over and not do anything on the tour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was tough. It's tough.
You know, it's tough. It's a tough road, huh?
It is, and obviously, there were no money. I was traveling all over the country playing in this Challenge Tour in order to try and to make the cut, and it was like a tiered system, and I got close, but not close enough. So, but that's what I'm saying about the difference between men and women. I don't know if it's because the ratio was only 1 woman to 2,000 men nearly, or if I'm still a bit right with what I'm saying about the mental side and focus. I definitely think that there's...
You was definitely the most popular on the tour though, being the only woman on the
house. I know, right?
Jesus, right?
Yeah, it was good fun back then. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
So Kelly, like we've got 8 minutes, right?
Right.
So, aspirations. What have you got left?
Well, I do. I mean, I want to win the World Chinese 8-Ball Championships because I've won. I'm not being big at but snooker, billiards, 9-ball, 10-ball, and I want to win an 8-ball, whether it's Chinese 8-ball or an American 8-ball. I'm not bothered, but that because I don't think anybody's done that, and nobody's done the 9, 10, and snooker and billiards either. But I'd like to get the 8-ball one.
Well, has anyone done this? Well, I suppose, Alison, and I suppose...
No, they've not.
They're kind of billiards, can they?
No, Alison never won the 10-ball World Championships, bless her.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Karen?
No. So I'm the only
You're already in a group of your own.
Yeah, but I want to do the 8-ball. But I also, to be honest with you, I still want to get number 1. I'm number 2 now by just missing out by 50 points. But it's not really that important, the number 1 to me, as much as it is to really win some major events. I still want to win, that's the main thing. And I still love competing, and I still feel it's challenging, and I'm not at my best yet. I feel I've still got things to learn. And
still not at your best? Oh,
no.
God, these girls better watch out, right?
I still want to learn and improve, on different things. I'm working on my break. My break sucks, in my opinion, compared to some of the Chinese, some of the other women, compared to the men,
Could be worse. You could break like Mark Gray.
I know, well.
There's levels.
But I just want to, see the game grow as well. I see somebody's right about Mosconi Cup. I'd love to see the women have a Mosconi Cup of their own. I'd love to see women involved in the men's Mosconi. Yeah. Maybe have 1 woman per team or something. I'd love to see the game grow even bigger. And if I can be part of that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But last thing as well is it's the World Games in 2021. It should have been in 2020. No, it should have been 21. It's been postponed to 22, I think. Anyway, I've got a bronze medal in that before, and I really want a gold medal. That would be a goal of mine, to get a gold medal.
Talking World Games, what about the Olympics? Do you ever see it?
I wish and I hope, but I think I might be, in a wheelchair or sticks can't walk by then. But I really hope it would be wonderful.
It would be nice to see, right?
It would, and I wish I could, be not too old for that, but we'll see.
You think with China, with the Chinese being so into their Q sports and being like a world power, that they would be able to like really push that on, really?
Yeah, there's so much involved, I suppose. Yeah, but fingers crossed anyway. Fingers crossed. We got close, I know that.
Yeah.
We did. So.
Okay, so any topics? We've got like I say 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Anything you want to touch on? Thanks to sponsors, people.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thanks to my sponsors for sure. Without them, it's tough. Because the pressure's on then for tournament play. With the sponsors, you can go out there, do your best, promote, and just think about playing and enjoying it, not with as much pressure. But of course, I'd like to thank them. That's Fury Cues and Jingshui Tables. I'd like to thank my coach Lionel, because he stuck by me through thick and thin.
Good old Lionel.
And he doesn't get anything out of it. He really doesn't. He asks for nothing. He doesn't get anything, and he's been fantastic. He's down in Wakefield. He lives in Leeds now, but he's still in Yorkshire, and I don't see him that often, but we talk all the time and stuff. And I've met a lot of wonderful people in pool.
Thank Val.
Of course, she knows that. She just made me a lovely dinner, so I thanked her already. No, joking. But no, I travel a lot. Yeah, I travel a lot, and it's tough. It's tough for the family. It's tough for her. It's tough. So I do. You have to be patient for all that, and understanding really. So, but yeah, I'm very lucky, and everybody needs to stay safe, because we need to keep this away from. From growing again and let's get rid of it, and let's get out back to normal as quickly as possible. So wear the masks, everybody. I'm wearing a mask. I don't see that many out and about wearing masks.
I thought you looked good today.
Thank you.
Where did you get that mask?
Yeah, I should go with me. I've got this big black mask that I wear everywhere. And all my friends and the young ones, take the mickey out of me, but I don't care. I wear it all into my any supermarket or anywhere I go, because I've been in Asia long enough. They all do that, So try and wear masks, people. Stay safe, look after each other, stay at home, and wave through the windows or 6 meters away from each other and stuff.
Yeah, just stick. Stick to the government guidelines. Don't be silly.
That's it.
You've got things like this, FaceTime.
That's right. I've got another one of these tomorrow night. Another one with live on.
Whoa!
Instagram, live on Instagram tomorrow night, 6 p.m, and that's with Venezuela, with
who are they?
The country, Venezuelan Association.
Okay.
They're doing that. So, and then I've got a practice match with somebody on Thursday, and then next week I'm playing Margaret again.
Oh, round 2.
Round 2, yeah.
So you're keeping yourself busy, girl.
Trying. I'm enjoying, doing the stuff like this. I love promoting pool, and hopefully, thanks to likes of you, we can grow the sport.
Yeah, that's morons sat here.
I'd love to see it grow in the UK. I mean, I've tried to help by bringing some of the Chinese products over. We sponsor the GB9 with the Andy Cloth and Cyclop balls. And we sponsor the Cyclop tour as well with the Andy Cloth and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've tried to be the help with that. So
yeah, we all appreciate it as well, obviously, Doug.
Well, I'd love to see it grow bigger than it is. GB9 do a great event. So do the lads up in Scotland on the Cyclop tour. They really
sold out at 104 now. When I started like 18 months ago, we were struggling for 70, and now we've sold out 104 every event.
That's fantastic. And all you guys do it for the passion of the game,
Well, that's not strictly true. I do take a little wage.
Yeah, but it's not a lot,
Yeah, of course.
It's not a lot.
You have to do it for love.
You've got to love it, otherwise you won't be doing it. That's it. So thank you to all you guys and everything for doing this kind of stuff. And now we're out unite to help.
No, thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. It's been a lovely hour.
Enjoyed it. It went quickly, huh?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like I could do another half hour if I didn't need a wee and the time didn't.
We don't stop for a breath, do we? Really?
You're definitely made better looking than Apple. So thank you for joining me. And
have a great week with everybody else, and I'm sure it'll be fun. I'll be watching.
Cheers, darling. Have a good one.
Thanks, darling.
Love
Bye,
to do. Love
everybody.
to Thank you, darling. Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.